Anthony Joshua has been preparing for the Jake Paul matchup by training alongside Oleksandr Usyk, a fighter he deeply admires and considers one of the sport's true masters. Being in that camp sharpens his concentration and forces him to elevate his game. He describes the experience as eye-opening and extremely demanding, giving him a rare look at how someone with Usyk's resume operates day-to-day. Working with seasoned members of Usyk's team, Joshua drills offensive setups, defensive reactions, movement patterns, and timing adjustments. Those around him say he constantly looks for ways to refine himself, whether that means correcting foot placement, improving rhythm, or testing new combinations. The environment offers sparring that mimics real championship pressure, keeping him mentally locked in as the fight nears. With the date approaching, each workout adds another layer to his physical conditioning and mental edge. His entire routine shows that he understands how innovation and preparation determine success at the highest level of boxing.
Insight to how someone who's achieved so much has been phenomenal, man. It's been a great
Analyst true. Girdy emphasizes that Joshua's trip to Usyk's camp isn't solely motivated by the Jake Paul fight. Much of the intention points toward what lies afterward, particularly a potential showdown with Tyson Fury. Having battled Fury twice, Usyk holds valuable insight into his patterns, tendencies, and ring adjustments. Joshua's time in camp lets him study those nuances up close, taking notes on the training habits, sparring drills, and tactical thinking that allowed Usyk to compete successfully against Fury. By incorporating these lessons, Joshua broadens his strategic sense while sharpening the skills he needs for elite-level competition. Though the upcoming bout with Paul carries importance, the knowledge gained from Usyk's environment extends far beyond one fight. Watching how Usyk adapts, moves, and prepares gives Joshua a foundation for future clashes at the top of the heavyweight division. It reflects long-term planning, mental discipline, and the kind of continuous growth expected from a world-class athlete.
Do know, Simon, I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Oleksandr Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul, isn't it?
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and do a little bits together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm travelling, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously, after the Usyk fight, he'd come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition
Well, yeah,
job.
Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helene, he had Otto Wally, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the box rec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where what you've just said then, Spencer, like match him right. I felt he was match right with Dubois. That's just my opinion.
Just
obviously I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to getting out and get back to winning ways is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8-rounders.
Yeah.
He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such
Very
a
much so.
commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been...
But it's not about his physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Oleksandr Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Deontay Wilder, and we've seen what Deontay Wilder...
Hearn has underlined how significant the Jake Paul matchup is for Anthony Joshua, explaining that a defeat could force a serious conversation about retirement. Even with that weight on the line, Hearn remains fully confident in Joshua's ability and readiness. He stresses that boxing isn't a sport where anyone can coast in unprepared, and Joshua treats every opponent celebrity or not with complete professionalism. Training in Spain alongside Usyk's people, Joshua sharpens his mechanics, boosts his reactions, and builds his endurance. Every session reinforces how essential accuracy and discipline are, because one misplaced punch or defensive lapse can change everything. Hearn's comments highlight Joshua's maturity and commitment, showing that despite the unusual spectacle of facing a crossover star like Paul, Joshua is locked in mentally and physically. His preparation shows a combination of tactical awareness, athletic conditioning, and unwavering focus. making sure he steps into the ring fully ready for the test ahead.
Fighters fighting.
Okay, so but let's talk about what this means for AJ. He's going to team Usyk. I think personally that is with one eye on the Fury fight. They're like, he's like, you clocked Fury. You completely understand everything about him. You fought him twice. You know every weakness, and I need to learn as much as I can from you in a short space of time. It's obviously not for a fucking Jake Paul fight. I think it's more about the Fury fight than it is about Ben Davison having know people like Wardley. I think that's actually the real reason. However, I wouldn't mind seeing Anthony Joshua versus Wardley if AJ can get his mind right.
I believe that's in Feb. I believe that will be the next, because it makes the most sense. When you're trying to match make, I know Frank Warren does not want to put his fighters in together. It makes sense. And the money, we can go straight back to Wembley and then actually, let's imagine that AJ does beat Fabio. Now we're talking about Fury versus AJ for a belt again. Yeah. It's perfect. So, and this is, I honestly feel this is the road that we're taking. Can I ask you though, do you think they're going to let Fabio in there with AJ before they get the biggest fight possible? Like, they've already fucked up AJ Fury enough times. That's a big risk, right?
Well, the thing is, there's no safe route to a big fight anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? And the fact is, Fabio Wardley will be absolutely down for that fight because that's the biggest payday.
That motherfucker's game as fuck.
Yeah, but it's like, even just on the note of AJ with, the fifth trainer of his career so far, I think he's just disconnected from the idea that I'm going to have a trainer that me and him, and we're buddies and we're tight and we're in the pocket together. I think he's done with that. It's almost like modern basketball teams where they're not loyal to their teams anymore. They trade and they bounce around. The best situation, they just take it. I think he's looking at it like, I'll do a bit of time with you, bit of time with you. We don't need to be best friends and pretend like we've got this father-son relationship. Piss off, bro.
He's
Teach me what you want.
And I'm out. He's sponging as much as he can up from each individual trainer.
As boxers, do you not think
he is fully equipped to handle the challenges this bout presents?
You're quoted on record saying that you and AJ must retire if Jake Paul wins on December 19th. Stand by that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I suppose so. Shit, yeah. Look, I don't see a world where Jake Paul wins this fight. I know that boxing's boxing. I mean, what is it? Roy Jones came out this morning and said Jake Paul can win this fight.
Teddy Atlas as well.
Teddy Atlas? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, now I'm a bit worried. I won't retire. AJ should retire if he loses, no.
Sorry.
No, I see AJ winning this fight with ease, comprehensively, destructively, violently, and I don't see a world where Jake Paul is competitive in the fight, let alone win the fight. But luckily, AJ's not preparing in a way that he just thinks it's a joke. He's preparing for Jake Paul like he's a world title contender. Yes, it's been a little bit of a shorter camp. Yes, we've got to make weight this time around, but it doesn't matter. We should just slide through this guy and bash him up and beat him up, and we should do it early doors.
Just lastly, you said as well that you told Nikisa that he was weighing 290 when you were negotiating. What impact did that have? Did you feel like they would have gone even lower if they knew he was weighing 265?
I don't think that when you're negotiating on a weight, there's not one promoter in the world that would tell the truth about what the weight of the fighter was. And Nikisa knows that anyway. So it wasn't like we were being clever, but they wanted him to come to 240. And it's just, don't forget, AJ's never made weight before. So all of a sudden, he's he'd been in camp for, 2 or 3 weeks, and he's probably sitting at, 260, 265. And it's like, you got to make 245. It's 20 pounds.
Michael Bisping